This is a Man City team that is simply unstoppable at the moment. 19 consecutive wins in all competition, and it feels like no side can beat them in this as the formidable force they are at this current time. Their bid for 20-0 sees them come up against West Ham United, a side competing for an unlikely top 4 place. The hosts, Manchester City, can go 13 points clear of Man United with another win today, and will set their sights on West Ham United to be their latest victim on this remarkable run they are currently embarking on. Well, the 19 wins that they've had, 13 of them have come in the Premier League. They have won, of course, one UCL game, which was that triumph in Budapest against Borussia Mönchengladbach on Wednesday. And from that game, there's 7 changes been made after the long journey back. John Stones comes back in place of Aymeric Laporte, who drops to the bench, and Zinchenko comes in place of Joao Cancelo, who drops to the bench. De Bruyne and Fernandinho come in, with Rodri and Bernardo Silva dropping out. Mahrez and Ferran Torres are both on the wing, with Sterling and Foden replaced. And number 10, Sergio Aguero starts. Nice to see the Argentine back in the starting lineup for Manchester City after a lengthy layoff. Well, Lucas Fabianski was injured overnight, so Darren Randolph comes in goal. It's the same back four that started against Tottenham. Their only other change sees Ben Johnson coming in place of Jared Bowen. Johnson, who's got 1 Premier League goal to his name and graduated from the club's youth academy, is in the midfield alongside Thomas Souček, their top goal scorer, and Declan Rice. Well, it is an interesting battle, to say the least, at the Etihad this afternoon. It is a game that usually you wouldn't be getting excited about, but given West Ham's form, it has made a lot of people stand up and take notice of them as them being a real force in the Premier League. So nice to see Sergio Aguero back. Injuries have really plagued him this season. He, of course, missed 10 games due to having coronavirus. He's also had various injuries. It's his first start in the Premier League since they played West Ham United on the 24th of October. Well, not a bad replacement to bring in with Fabianski's absence. Darren Randolph, 50 caps for the Irish national team in goal, in place of the Pole, who, of course, picked up an injury. Well, there is Pep Guardiola. Not lost to West Ham in the Premier League. Looking to win his 20th game in a row as a manager alongside his players. And he'll be hoping that his team can be the first team since Tottenham in November to beat Manchester City in all competitions. What a season he is having with the Hammers, David Moyes. And there is the man in the middle, Michael Oliver. He refereed Manchester City's only Premier League home defeat this season, that 5-2 hammering of Leicester. Since then, they really have been unstoppable at the Etihad throughout the campaign. So we are ready to go here in Manchester. That kicks off this weekend of Premier League action. Final few checks being done by Michael Oliver. And of course, the usual taking of the knee in full effect by both sides, as the message to stop racism in society still needs to be told. So the two sides who have begun at 2021 in great style, Manchester City have won every single game that they have played in 2021. So in the Premier League in particular, they've taken 33 points out of a possible 33 against the West Ham United side, who've taken 22 from a possible 27. So maybe you wouldn't consider Manchester City as the overwhelming favourites, as many people would probably have them down to be. As West Ham come here aside in good form, 1 defeat in 11 for them in the Premier League. And they'll be hoping to continue their stay in the top 4 by getting a positive result at the home of Europe's best side at the moment, and to some, the best side in the world. Here's Kyle Walker to John Stones. One of 7 changes in the City lineup for today's game. Ruben Diaz, who's really made a superb impact since arriving from Benfica. The last transfer window. Riyad Mahrez. Walker to De Bruyne. They're going to try and play it through. Well defended there by Aaron Cresswell. And it's a West Ham throw. Well, there is a real genuine possibility that Manchester City could do the quadruple this year to some people. Never been achieved before. Certainly won't be easy, but the way they're playing at the moment and the way they just manage their squad in all the competitions they're in, it does just feel like something special's on the cards, and it could trump the domestic treble that they won 2 seasons ago. Of course, they're in the League Cup final, which is going to be played on the penultimate weekend in April. They've pretty much got the job done in the Champions League. They've got an FA Cup quarter-final to come next month as well, and they sit pretty at the top of the Premier League tree. Here is Sergio Aguero, Zinchenko, Gundogan, what a season he's having. De Bruyne looking to give the ball back to Gundogan, but West Ham defend it well. Here's Pablo Fornals to Jesse Lingard, returning to Manchester as a West Ham loanee. And then Manchester City are just easily able to just keep it around the back with Ederson and Walker as they play out. What's going to be important for West Ham today is that they just don't give too many chances away to Manchester City. Against Tottenham, I think the one thing that was very evident was off the ball. West Ham worked so well. You know, they were tracking back. They got numbers back. And in attack, they got the numbers up there as well. So it's very important that they can, you know, be good and be effective in both boxes. But of course, defensively at the moment against Manchester City, you've got to be resolute, because playing them, it really is just a headache in terms of the way that they play and in the attacking sense and their movement. Gundogan looking for Ferran Torres, and so Foul is able to just hold him off. He's in the side today in place of Phil Foden. So the squad rotation in full effect by Guardiola and Manchester City. Well, there's David Moyes, the 4th highest games as a Premier League manager. Only Harry Redknapp, who of course was once upon a time West Ham United boss. And Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger can say that they've managed more since the Premier League began in 1992. Here's Fornals. Diagonal ball out to Ben Johnson, who comes from a family of good footballers. Ledley King and Paul Parker are his cousins, 2 former England internationals. Cresswell to Johnson. Playing as a wide midfielder in the 3 that they have of Rice, Souček and himself. Here is Diaz, Zinchenko. Diaz again. It's an astonishing record that he's got. He's kept 14 clean sheets in 22 Premier League games, which is a phenomenal record with him in the side. Good feet by Torres. Couldn't quite get away from Issa Diop, who's just cleared that away at the first time of asking, taking no chances there. So Foul. Dawson now. Diop has it at the back and clips it forward to Michail Antonio. Souček celebrating his birthday today. His 26th, in fact. Of course, he's on a high as he celebrated his old side Slavia Prague dumping Leicester out of the Europa League this week, in which he was actually FaceTiming with Jindřich Trpišovský's squad after their win. And Ederson played the ball short to Fernandinho. Souček pressing Fernandinho into playing the ball. And Fernandinho did manage to pass it to Zinchenko, but then Souček did catch the Manchester City captain. Well, there's no debate that it is a foul, but Michael Oliver deciding inside the first 6 minutes and the first foul of the game that only a warning is deemed necessary. Aguero. Out there by Aaron Cresswell. Johnson. And he can't pick out Michail Antonio, who was directly in front of him as opposed to diagonally of him. De Bruyne to Riyad Mahrez. Walker to Fernandinho. Gundogan looking to try and get on the end of it. Aguero tried to flick it through to the German number 8, who's scoring goals for the fun of it at the moment. The German really has become a real predator for the citizens this season. Here he is on the ball, receiving it from the left. Fernandinho, once again, the Manchester City skipper. 36, really still does a job when he does come into the team. Is Torres, Zinchenko. There's John Stones. West Ham will know that Manchester City just like to absorb teams and just wait to see if there is any faults. Even though there are 7 City changes, this is still a strong side been put out by Pep Guardiola. Zinchenko, Gundogan, Aguero. Zinchenko just giving it back to Diaz, and in 8 minutes, it's City who've had all the possession so far. Gundogan, it's a lovely ball through to Aguero. It's found the blue shirt in the box this time. Thinking about the shot, but he's resorted to just playing it short to Torres. Zinchenko will cross, lofted it high, away by Diop. And then so foul with a little knock back to Souček, but his pass is overhit for 4 now, and it's a throw-in. Well, it is nice to see him back in the team. He received the ball beautifully from Ilkay Gundogan, and as we know, he likes to just check back and go for the curler sometimes, does the Argentine striker, but on that occasion, Craig Dawson did very, very well to just shut the angle for him and force him to play it to Ferran Torres, who was, of course, on that right-hand side. And De Bruyne, unlike him, has cleared the ball out of play for a West Ham throw. But the first 10 minutes are up in this game, and I think it's quite safe to say that West Ham will be absolutely delighted with it. Well, Manchester City, I mean, are usually quite perennial fast starters, and obviously West Ham would have known that doing their research. You know, as we've sort of seen in the last few games. I mean, Sterling obviously scored 2 minutes in last week at Arsenal, which was obviously the match winner, but they are very, very quick out of the blocks, as we know, and it's just important for West Ham that they just stand firm and hold against them. So foul went into the back of Ferran Torres. Easy decision for Michael Oliver to make. Stones receiving it from Diaz. Now Walker. Zinchenko's. We like to know Pep's fullbacks love to drift inside and almost play as midfielders. Mahrez. Walker's up in support. Mahrez gets it back. He's going to look to go on his left foot here. Goes on the inside of Johnson. The cross is headed out away by Dawson. Rice to Souček. And then Lingard knocks it back safely to Aaron Cresswell. And then Fornals tried to give it to Lingard, but then Manchester City dispossessed West Ham. Johnson goes into the back of Mahrez this time, and Manchester City have a free kick. Important day for him. Ben Johnson. There, he just got caught as Mahrez just got in front of him and waited for him to just give him an arm in the back or a bit of contact as he wanted the free kick. And this is certainly Kevin De Bruyne territory. Well, the best delivery by the Belgian, and West Ham were able to clear through Declan Rice, Gundogan, Fernandinho, Zinchenko, Gundogan, Fernandinho again, Gundogan again. Good challenge by Lingard. What a loan signing he's proved to be from Manchester United. He didn't even play in any of their Premier League matches before joining West Ham United. And he's got 3 and 4 since signing for the Hammers back in January under David Moyes. Walker. De Bruyne. Out to Ferran Torres. First time we're going to see him potentially have a run at so far. Decides to knock it to De Bruyne. Now he's driving forward in the box. De Bruyne cuts it back to Torres. Rice and Souček both went to try and stop the shot there, and they've just about done enough. And then there's a handball against Sergio Aguero, and West Ham have a free kick. Yeah, just hits his hand as he tries to take it on the chest, but then Torres just gives it to De Bruyne, who's got that little bit of space, and he's just gone past Souček through Fornals as well. It's cut to Ferran Torres. Souček did really well to make the ground up to get back in the box and make that sliding challenge. Both him and Rice sort of just get in the way of each other, and Rice certainly had a kick in the chest for his efforts in trying to stop Torres getting the shot away, but he is a tough cookie and gets on with it. Well, he's not afraid of a battle in both a defensive and an attacking sense. David Moyes is looking to beat Manchester City for the first time in 8 years. The last time he did it was when he was at Everton at Goodison Park. He's, of course, lost to Manchester City with 3 different clubs. His current side, West Ham, Manchester United and Sunderland. Manchester City have a throw-in. Zinchenko will take it. Looks down the line for Torres. Another Manchester City throw-in. Position that Souček is just sort of occupying. He's very much got his defensive head on today. I mean, he's just very much just sitting right in front of the defence, but in particular, he's covering that right-hand side of Sofal and Issa Diop, which they're kind of worried about the runs getting made through from De Bruyne and Gundogan. As we know, City, there's just so much freedom and flexibility in this team that it's just so important that you just have all your angles covered through the middle as much as anything else. Cresswell to Souček. An overhit ball by him intended for his countryman Sofal. And City have a throw-in. Well, West Ham United on their travels this season have amassed 21 points, which is a pretty good return for them. Their highest they've ever achieved was 28 back in the 2015-16 campaign when they finished 7th under Slaven Bilic. So they need 7 more points from 6 games, which you would expect they would get. But of course, they've still got to play some tough sides on the road. They've got Manchester United to still play away. They've got to, of course, try and negotiate this game first and come out with a positive result, which no side has managed to do since West Bromwich Albion did it back in the middle of December. Aguero gets it from Walker's throw. Walker will get it back. Stones. Might be seeing him drift into West Ham's half a lot in this game due to the nature and the way West Ham are sitting in the opening sort of corner of the game. Stones gets it back from Aguero, occupying a midfield position. Stones just sort of reiterating what I was saying a few moments ago. Here is De Bruyne. Can't quite find Aguero. Cut out by Diop. And West Ham are able to play out away from danger very, very well, in fact. As Cresswell gets it from Fornals. Rice to Antonio. 6 goals for him this season in the Premier League. Cresswell. Johnson. West Ham, they're very intent on just trying to sort of be very, very versatile and flexible. I mean, one thing I've noticed, Foul is so high as a right back. You could almost think he's playing as a right midfielder. You very much just got Souček and Rice just staying in front of Dawson and Diop, and it's just sort of meant that Cresswell, and in particular Foul, are just able to push on up. So it's a very unique sort of way that West Ham are sort of thinking of going about their business here. Antonio's onside. He gets it from Foul. The ball to Fornals was a poor one. They get it back here. Here is the Spaniard Fornals. To Antonio, who was part of the West Ham side that won here 5.5 years ago nearly. Which they won here by 2-1. Cresswell. First time we've really seen them keep the ball in around City's 18 yards. Lingard opens up with the shot. It's deflected. Souček flicks it on. Antonio climbs with Ederson. Diaz heading it away. Hit by Lingard. Blocked by Stones. And West Ham really applying the pressure on Manchester City there as Ederson is on the ground as he was challenging with Michail Antonio. Yeah, Gundogan gets drawn out and it's given the space to Lingard. His shot bounces off John Stones. Souček does brilliantly to nod it back into play. Antonio competes with Ederson. And Ederson just sort of does enough to just get it away. It was a big jump that he had to do because Antonio's a big physical presence and it came to Lingard. It was a good shot, but luckily Stones and Diaz were in the way of it. But of course it hit Stones as City were then able to clear. Feels all right, Ederson. There's no sort of damage to him. It was just a little wind knocked out of his sails, if you like. Dawson. So foul, but Zinchenko heading it out for a throw-in. Rice. To Cresswell. West Ham just, within the last few minutes, just growing a little bit here. They've had to just sort of sit and let City have the ball. But this could be a real chance here for the table toppers. Zinchenko. De Bruyne. Torres gets away from Foul. De Bruyne looks to give the return back to Torres, but it's overhit and it's a West Ham goal kick. Well, as we know, De Bruyne does like to do that, doesn't he? Just do the little give and goes with that first time pass. It was an overhit one intended for Torres, but we've seen him do that a couple of times where he's just got a little bit too much space. You would have expected David Moyes in the pre-match just to have said to Souček, who's sort of playing on the right of the three of him, Johnson and Rice, just to sort of stay on that right-hand side and just don't let De Bruyne have any sort of time where he can look up and play a pass through to a fellow City player. Stones to Diaz. Aguero coming short for it. Diaz with a real driving run. It was a good run as well, and he's won a free kick. And he just decided to just venture forward. He had no one to look forward to, so he just wanted to just make some ground up and get a free kick, and that's exactly what he did. Taken short, Fernandinho looked for Mahrez, well cut out by Johnson, who's looks like precisely been given the role to Mark Mahrez in this game. As we know, he loves to come inside. Johnson, on a defensive point of view, has just stayed on the inside, which is something I think has been very visible to see inside the opening 22 minutes. Diaz to Aguero. Zinchenko just couldn't get that under control. So fouled at Fornals. Away by Stones. It looked like it was going to pick out Antonio, and had Stones not been there to head that away, you would have banked on the ball landing to Michail Antonio and him putting the chance away or forcing Ederson into a save. Diaz to Stones. It's quite interesting to think about that. It does feel like the two centre-backs for Manchester City have had most of the touches in this game, which just shows that West Ham are not allowing the space sort of just beyond the halfway line and in the middle of the pitch, where City, as we know, have got so much talented ball players. Torres is going to keep that in, does really well, and has nearly won a corner for his team. So foul got across in the nick of time there. Well, Zinchenko played a lovely ball. It looked like it might have just been trickling up, but Torres didn't think so. Well played to be determined to keep that in, but so foul very, very clever to just knock the ball against Torres, which saw it go out for a West Ham goal kick. That is the one thing that Pep has really just brought in, not just to the Premier League, but into the game of football in general, is these fullbacks just tucking in inside. João Cancelo is so good at doing it. Zinchenko's done it quite a bit so far. So fouls Aguero. That's the second foul he's committed this afternoon. I don't think he'll have too many more warnings from Michael Oliver. City taking it short, just not trying to let West Ham settle. Zinchenko with the ball in, Dawson away. Comes to Mahrez. As he gets it under control, West Ham are able to get a body back and get in the way of it. Antonio put under pressure by Mahrez, and it's going to be a throw-in to West Ham. So far, he's had nothing to do, Darren Randolph, which he'll be happy about, that his defence has done a pretty good job so far. But of course, against Manchester City, it's very hard to just not have any shot to deal with at all. And there might be one that he's got to deal with here, but Manchester City are unable to get around so far, but they win it back in a crucial area. Aguero to Fernandinho. Gets away from Rice on the left of the West Ham skipper, De Bruyne. Zinchenko's there. Looked for Fernandinho instead. It was the wrong ball to play, and West Ham are once again able to get men back and stop City playing around with it in their final 18 yards. And now Rice has it with Souček. West Ham will just sort of take the sting out of the game. But that's pretty unbelievable to think that City inside 25 minutes haven't had a shot in this game. And there is not a lot of occasions where you do say that this season. That is not. They're trying to work the ball in the box. They're just trying to find that killer pass through. But, you know, as I keep saying, West Ham have remained resolute. We've seen a lot of teams just give City a lot of space, especially through the midfield, and they have really done their homework. West Ham just kept things so tight, especially through the middle. Yeah, they're getting it wide on a few occasions, but they're being shut out very, very firmly by West Ham, who've done a very, very good job so far. Gundogan yet to really influence this game, as many City players haven't been able to do so. Torres going to get away from Sofal, and the Czech does really well to play that to Fornals. Defensively, Sofal is a really good right back, kind of an old school type player. Here's Lingard, nonetheless, for West Ham United. Johnson. Ball for Lingard, a poor one, and Manchester City intercept it. Gundogan. Zinchenko. Zinchenko getting it once again from Torres. It's not really a lot of showing for the ball, City, from that attacking point of view. It's been quite sloppy when they've had the ball sometimes, Manchester City. Lazy in possession. The passes have been either overhit, especially in the more advanced areas, and then when they've been sort of in the middle of the pitch, in their own half, it's been sometimes quite sloppy passing. Maybe it just feels like that those changes that have been made to the team haven't quite come to effect yet. Really poor ball by West Ham, which sees Torres pick it up and play it short to Fernandinho. Here is Gundogan. Mahrez away from Johnson, but he pulls him back. I think that might be a yellow card for Johnson. Yes, it is. And the West Ham number 31 has his name taken. That's what Mahrez can do. He just flicks it forward rather than away from Johnson. And yeah, he just was caught the wrong side of him. He knew he was going to get past him. So just put an arm on his shoulder to pull him back. First booking of the season for Johnson. Interesting to see what they go with here. Is it the right footer of De Bruyne, who'll probably go around the wall, or Mahrez, who'll probably go over the heads of Fornals and Lingard? De Bruyne takes away by Craig Dawson. Now Zinchenko. With a cross in, not a bad delivery. Well watched by Cresswell, who heads it out for a Manchester City corner. And it's their first one in 28.5 minutes. Better ball in by Zinchenko. Good whip on it. Real teasing ball. Tantalising area for someone to attack. But really good defensive header there by Aaron Cresswell. De Bruyne will take the corner. Over the head of Stones. Zinchenko on it as he's right by the byline on that. Right by the touchline, rather, on that left-hand side of the pitch. Diagonal ball finds De Bruyne. Space to bring it in the middle of the pitch. Crossing on his left foot. Good delivery. Stones attacks. But it was Diaz who went for it and has scored. And Manchester City have broken through. And it's Ruben Diaz with the goal. Stones went to meet it. It went over his head. Diaz went to meet it instead. And West Ham, who've not allowed any chances on their goal, have allowed one here for Ruben Diaz, who powerfully meets De Bruyne's cross, and it's Manchester City who lead. Well, De Bruyne's not really put a good ball in yet until now. What a ball in it was. They're onside. Stones attacked it, couldn't get there, but it's Diaz who's behind him, and luckily meets De Bruyne's ball. What a sensational ball that is. Beyond Diop. Good header, powerful. Randolph can do nothing about it. It comes at him quickly. And that's the opening goal for Manchester City. And what a big, big header it was by Ruben Diaz. It's a big goal. And it's the first time he scored as a Manchester City player in any capacity. He's been renowned for being so good at keeping the ball out of the net. It's gone the other way, and him scoring as an attacking player. Here's Torres who shoots, and immediately Manchester City on the march to try and get a second. He was given the opportunity to shoot via a poor pass. He brought it in field. The Spaniard went for distance from around about 20 yards out, but it was straight at the keeper and easy for Randolph to save. Well, that's just what they got. They got game changers, Manchester City. They're the best side, I think, in the world for that. You know, they haven't been great for half an hour, but then they get the opportunity. It's Fornals nonetheless, and it looks like that hasn't come off Ederson, and it's going to be a Manchester City goal kick. It was a lovely ball through for Fornals. Diaz attacked it. Fernandinho got a touch to it. Yeah, Ederson does not touch that. The linesman down that side, Stuart Burt, was making the decision quickly and had a good view of it. And obviously, seeing the replays, he was right to give it. Well, as I was saying, they have got the game changers in the team with De Bruyne. Mahrez is just in abundance, isn't it? That's a lovely ball through to Mahrez. Randolph has to come out and just send it out into touch. What a ball that was by Walker. Mahrez is just beyond Cresswell, isn't it? And it's just a little bit too much for Mahrez. But well done, Darren Randolph. Sensing it early and coming out and just sending it out for a throw-in. Thumbs up from Guardiola. One thing that's just been just a success of Manchester City in this run is not just the wins and the, at times, beautiful football to watch, but it's the offensive side of their game, which is vastly improved. And you could probably maybe say that's down to one man, but there has been a change of emphasis. We don't usually see City just try and hit teams with 4 or 5. They do settle on the one goal they've got. Of course, against Arsenal, they were happy to sit on the 1-0. And you could probably say that they could probably give a little bit more, but also you could say they're just happy to hold on to what they've got. There's Gundogan's ball through for Aguero is a overhit one. Well, as it stands again, 13 points clear at the top of the Premier League tonight. Wherever or not it will stay at 13 points come 6:30 tomorrow evening when Manchester United play Chelsea. Is another story. That's a game, of course, being covered on RS Media. You can watch that with us. And it'll be James Whitfield providing you commentary on that game. As second plays 5th, as Thomas Tuchel's yet to lose a game as Chelsea manager. Gundogan and Rice battling for it. Gundogan managed to just get the foot to it. Diaz. Fernandinho. I was putting him under pressure. Zinchenko. Has almost just felt like a training ground match for Manchester City at times. Diaz. Zinchenko. Gundogan. Zinchenko again. Ball now out to the right with Mahrez. Couldn't pick up Walker, but he gets it back via the head of Cresswell. Mahrez then shifts it out to the other side with De Bruyne, who's gone out from the middle to the left. He crosses on his right foot, but Darren Randolph takes and dives on the ball. Well, yeah, we've seen him very much stay in the middle of this game, haven't we? De Bruyne, but he comes out to the left. It's a really good delivery in there, but it's easy for Darren Randolph to take. Of course, RS Media's very own Ryan Sonley interviewed a week ago Mark Halsey, former Premier League referee. If you haven't seen it, it is all over the various social media channels, that interview with Mark Halsey. It is a cracker if you are interested in watching it. Antonio chasing the ball down, but unfortunately for him, City just able to keep it out. But here's the goal again. It's a beautiful ball in by De Bruyne. Stones went to attack it, missed it, but luckily for him, he had another player behind him in Diaz, his centre-back partner, there to beautifully meet De Bruyne's cross and just head it beyond Darren Randolph, who just could do nothing to stop it despite the hand helping it in. Here's Gundogan holding off Rice. Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Mahrez. Thought about the shot on his right foot, decided to play it to Walker, who tried to drill it in, well blocked by Ben Johnson. Manchester City threat. I think they're just starting to give a little bit too much more space in the midfield. I think the last 5-10 minutes, you're starting to see it with Manchester City occupying that little bit more space. Probably too much for David Moyes' liking. Souček was doing a really good job of it. We sort of saw Johnson sort of just tuck in a little bit more, but City just trying to make West Ham stretch their defensive shape that little bit more, which is forcing City to just try and play through the middle. So just got to try and go back to what was making them good in the early part of the game. The goal scorer Diaz to John Stones, Fernandinho, Gundogan, Mahrez. Stones once again. Walker. Fernandinho. Zinchenko. Torres to the Ukrainian Zinchenko once again. Look how high he's playing. He was caught in two minds as he was caught in a crossroads trying to think about whether to play it forward or play it to the side. Lingard looking forward. Fornals gives it to Soufal. It looked like anyway before Zinchenko slid in and conceded a throw. Real steal at just over 5 million. Vladimir Soufal from Slavia Prague. He did feature for the Czech side this season. He played in 2 Champions League qualifying matches before West Ham signed him and took him to the London Stadium. It's been a real revelation at right back as Soufal. Here's Dawson. Pinging out a lovely ball to Soufal. Now Lingard picking it up from Soufal's pass. He crosses it in, looking for Fornals. It's missed him. It's come to Antonio, and it's hit the post. And what a big, big chance that was for the Hammers. They've been waiting for an opportunity like that all afternoon in this first half. Well, they worked it well. Lingard may have been offside, but the flag stayed down. The ball by him looked to have found Fornals. He tried to hit it first time, missed it. Antonio took it under control. He hit the ball into the ground, didn't really get a hold of it right. And it's hit the outside of the post and gone out. But what a big, big moment that was for West Ham. They'd been waiting for an opportunity like that. And when they get it, they're unable to capitalise and let City breathe a sigh of relief. We've not seen Lingard do that enough. He just drifted out to the right, didn't he? And played a good ball into Fornals. He missed it. Luckily, Antonio was there and he felt he could do a lot better. Here is Lingard. Gets the shot away. It's on target. But straight at Ederson. And then Ederson made a real mess of that. It was cut out by Fornals, but then City are able to get it clear. But there's maybe anxiety and nerves in and amongst these City players that we haven't seen over the last few games, as West Ham really are putting the sword to them as we are into the final 5 minutes of this first half here at the Etihad Stadium. Just sort of last couple of minutes have sort of gone to press the Mars. We know Ederson likes to play quick from goal kicks, doesn't he? Whether he's throwing it out or just kicking it out, he is very much like that. And there you could see that he wanted to play it quick, but Fornals was very on the spot to sort of know what he was trying to do. Cresswell played in every single Premier League match this season. Him and Declan Rice are the only two West Ham players to have that achievement so far. So found as well to win it off Torres. Torres has stayed down. West Ham do not need to kick that ball out. And they've rightly gone against that. Lingard played it through, trying to find Sofal. It's taken a nick off a City player, and then Edison will gobble up the ball and take it. Yeah, Sofal just brilliantly clean tackle. Nothing wrong with that. There was no arm in the back at all. Torres didn't really have his body upright to stand in front of him, and he got robbed there. It was really good defensive play, to be fair. Stones to De Bruyne. Diaz. Aguero. To really see a presentable chance for the Argentine in this game. Yet to score a Premier League goal this season, Sergio Aguero. Both of his strikes have come in the Champions League. Johnson tackling Kyle Walker. Well, here's a man who has such exceptional high demands. Certainly isn't the usual City that we've seen this season or within the past few years of Guardiola's tenure. But what's important is the scoreline at the moment, which is in their favour. Lingard to 4-0, but how long? Much longer will it be? 1-0. Here's Sofal. Drills it in low. Lingard, Antonio, 1-1. West Ham equalise. It's Michail Antonio. And these last few minutes, the Hammers have grown in confidence. They've pushed forward. And Manchester City have caved in right near the end of the first half. And West Ham are level, and it's Michail Antonio who's got it. They've been better as the half was worn on. Not the best play by Aguero. And that's that one ball by Lingard to Fornals that sees the space. You think Sofal might have overrun it. Antonio's onside. No debate about that. Whether Lingard meant to do that, I'm not too sure. I think Lingard was trying to shoot. It was off target. But brilliant that Antonio makes that run, gets in that position, and just stabs it in from all of a few yards out and puts it away. Really good striker's instinct from Antonio, and it's 1-1. Well, it's just the 8th goal that they've conceded in this 27 matches that they have been involved in. Of course, 26 unbeaten, 19 consecutive wins. But Michail Antonio, who scored in the first match between these two on the 24th of October, has done it again in the reverse fixture at the Etihad 4 months later, which is come at a crucial time, to be fair, because Manchester City, it looked like we're going to go in at the break 1-0 up, but the last few minutes they have just got better in this game. And it's bittersweet for Antonio because he missed a real good opportunity when he hit the post in the early on in the game. Antonio gives it to Lingard. Antonio will not get it back. It was played the wrong side of where he wanted it to go. Antonio drifted to the right. Instead, it went to his left. Zinchenko out to Ferran Torres. Will there be a third goal as we edge closer to half-time? De Bruyne to Torres. We'll find the Spaniard. Tries to get away from Sofal, but he stands up to the challenge once again and has cleared it away well enough in the end. Advantage in City's favour. Diaz. Lazy ball intended for Gundogan, which was a poor one, and doesn't pick him out. Stones comes across to win it. 25 seconds of the first half remaining, in which it is 1-1. Fernandinho to Gundogan. Fernandinho again. Standing firm, aren't they? Seeing Fornals do his defensive work. Antonio's not really been back in the final sort of 25 yards. Even he's back. So West Ham just hoping that it stays as it is. And that's exactly the case. 1-0 at the break. Kevin De Bruyne with a stunning ball in that Ruben Diaz was able to head in for his first Manchester City goal just after the half-hour mark. But West Ham United cancelled it out with Michail Antonio's 7th of the season. 2 minutes before half-time means it is 1-1 at the break between Manchester City and West Ham United. Welcome back for the second half here at the Etihad. Manchester City got work to do if they're going to make it 20 successive wins on the spin in all competitions. West Ham at the moment are denying them that feat. Manchester City looking to beat their own record in that respect. But West Ham United, as an away side, are pretty strong themselves. After 12 games of any season in the Premier League, this is their best return of points. 21 that they have accumulated, topping 19 that they got in the 2015-16 season. And that year, of course, they finished 7th, which got them into Europe. And as it stands at the moment, with them sitting 4th, they will be in Europe and, of course, in the world's greatest club competition. Fernandinho to Kyle Walker, away from England teammate Declan Rice. Mahrez, cross goes in. It's a overhit cross that doesn't find a blue shirt, and it's a goal kick. While if City and Guardiola aren't happy with how things are panning out, they can look to the bench. Class running through it. That's just three of them there. Bernardo Silva, Jesus and Foden, respectively. Silva and Jesus were both the goal scorers in Wednesday night's win against Mönchengladbach in Budapest. So they're very much big game players. But of course, the long journey there and back did take its toll on those players that are not starting today. And forward by Darren Randolph. Soucek flicks it on. Aguero. Now Ilkay Gundogan. Walker to Zinchenko. Fernandinho. De Bruyne. Walker. Trying to slip it through to Gundogan, but it's cut out well by Cresswell. Now Declan Rice. Well, what West Ham was so good at in the first half was staying patient and waited for the chances to come. And they might be looking to strike here early in the second half. Lingard now has it. Looking for options. He might go it alone here. Fernandinho clipped him, did he? Referee says no. And Manchester City have got a free kick as Fornals committed a foul. Yeah, Lingard here was thinking about playing this, but he just decided to go it on his own. He clips his foot. There does Fernandinho. When you make a challenge like that, it's in a real dangerous area. He does get the ball. Having seen that first replay I saw, it does look like he fouled him. You can see quite clearly there he gets the ball first. Darren Randolph is down for West Ham, just talking with the physio. Of course, they've got Fabianski out injured, hence why Darren Randolph's into the team. They've got 2 sub-keepers on the bench. There is David Martin, one of them. Dan, of course, Alvin played over 500 games for West Ham United. Very, very successful. Was his dad back in the late 70s to mid-90s. Well, this is what's happened that's meant Randolph's had to receive treatment. It's as he's kicked it. Might be a muscle strain or something along those lines. It'll be something that David Moyes and the medical staff will certainly be keeping a close eye on for the rest of this game. Of course, he hasn't featured yet this season, David Martin, but he did feature a few times last season. He featured 5 times, keeping 2 clean sheets against Chelsea as one of the sides, in which he did break down in tears. And of course, as well, they have got a academy graduate on the bench in Nathan Trott, who's a player who had a loan at Wimbledon last season. Before, of course, it was cut short in League One due to COVID. Diaz to Walker. Edison does eventually kick it away. Just waited for the right time to do so. Here's De Bruyne. Going to pick out Riyad Mahrez, and instead his pass is intercepted by Ben Johnson. Here's the West Ham goal scorer, Michail Antonio. Shrugs off Walker. Goes on the outside of him and beats him. Gets the cross in. It's got off Walker's foot to West Ham corner. That's what Antonio will do. He will hold that ball up, and he'll do it very, very well. He holds it up against Walker, and he just goes on the outside of him. It looks a bit unorthodox how he's done it. Gets away from him, and then he wins a corner. It's really good centre-forward play there by Antonio. Well, Craig Dawson's scored 3 times this season. Issa Diop scored his name on the score sheet. He did it in there. Did it in a game early on in the campaign. What's going to come of this free from this corner? In by Cresswell, over the head of Dawson and Souček. Diop will knock it to Sofal. Rice flicks it on. There were a few West Ham players coming back from an offside position. Advantage is being signalled there by Michael Oliver. De Bruyne looking down the line. Can't pick anybody out, and it's going to roll out of play for a goal kick. Well, RS Media, of course, is bringing you more live action this weekend from the Premier League. James Whitfield will be bringing you live coverage of Manchester United and Chelsea as second plays fourth. Of course, this is a result that the red side of Manchester will be keeping an eye on. But of course, with Randolph pulling up after the last kick, it's meant that the duties have fallen to Craig Dawson. And of course, Randolph, who doesn't want to take any chances and is not taking any risks, has just elected to allow his centre-back to take it. Of course, talking about Man United, they do play Chelsea tomorrow. We'll find out around about 6:30 whether they've closed the gap to potentially 8 points or 10 should this be a draw. Of course, City win, they go 13 clear. So really, if it is a draw here, or City are to lose, you'd hope that United can take advantage. So Foul just nursing a bit of a injury as he was caught by Torres. Diaz with the clearance over his head. Fernandinho away. Souček. So Foul flicking it on. Zinchenko away. Diop forward. Rice. Cresswell to Ben Johnson, who played very, very wide today as the West Ham number 31. Of course, scored his only goal for the Hammers this season against Brighton. So Foul's pass forward charge down by Torres. Fernandinho with a little knock to his right and finds Ilkay Gundogan. 13 goals for his name this season. What a staggering amount of goals that he's got. Nearly doubled the tally that he was been getting over the previous 3 years. Stones to Ferran Torres. Inside of Sofal and Fornals. Went through the pair of them. Fernandinho to Walker. Lines up a shot, but it's off target. Yeah, he got in the position sort of early on in the second half, didn't he? And he decided against shooting, but this time he decided to. Best option for him, really. He had the potential to play it forward to Gundogan, but of course he had his back to goal, so you can't really fault Walker for trying it, but of course the execution was off. So Foul. Fornals, you do believe with the game at 1-1, there is still that great hope that West Ham could get that goal to maybe put them in front. Not a bad ball in by Rice, but it's taken very well by Ederson. Very, very commanding indeed by the Brazilian keeper. Fernandinho on the ball. Zinchenko to De Bruyne, away from Souček. Lines up the shot. Souček blocking it there. Really good play to get in that position to stop De Bruyne's shot going toward Randolph's goal. Lingard. Tonyo's made the run forward. Can't pick him out. Zinchenko with the knock away. Walker steps into the middle to get on the second ball and headed away from Lingard. Of course, this isn't as dominant a City performance as we're expecting, but you still feel there is a lot more to give in this Manchester City team. Of course, they've had a storming run in all competitions that's seen them be the formidable team that they are going into this game, but it hasn't quite shown on the pitch. West Ham have looked every bit of top four side today, as people probably don't give them a lot of credit for. They're very firmly in this race, and if people don't believe it, then based on the first sort of hour of this game, you can see why. Of course, if you did watch the Tottenham game, it's very evident to see as well why they are where they are. In what is, of course, the strangest of seasons. Zinchenko to Torres. So Foul has had the better of him so far in that personal battle down that left-hand side. Torres to Aguero. He's been really quiet. Almost been a shadow in this game. De Bruyne shoots first time. Team effort, which Dawson's in the way of. And then Fornals is able to give it to Souček, who plays it to Johnson, who's effectively been playing as a winger today. Rice. Fornals to Diop. Now Sofal. Fornals. Antonio. Nice possession here by West Ham until it's given away by Sofal. And then a ball by Torres is seized upon by Fornals. He might look to shoot it. He might have maybe done a little bit too much. Decides to get the cross in for Lingard, who just could not get that first touch right. And Walker's able to bring it away. And here might give De Bruyne on the go. He skips away from Diop. And he's going to bring it by the West Ham box. He drills it in low. It's gone away from everybody, including Sergio Aguero. And West Ham are able to get it away. And now here's Declan Rice for the Hammers. Lingard to his left. Does eventually play it to the Manchester United loanee. Antonio's the nearest man to pick out. Instead, he's just holding it up. Playing it through to Fornals, who's stayed on side. West Ham throw after Gundogan has got the last touch out of play. Rice did really well to just make up the ground and just get West Ham up the pitch. He did it on his own, but they're keeping a lot of men back and they're keeping men forward, West Ham. So they're very much a team very good in transition under David Moyes. In by Cresswell. Deep delivery, looking for Antonio once again. Ederson once again comes out with real authority to take that catch from Cresswell's cross. Gundogan to Mahrez. This isn't the off-the-ball movement that we see from City. It's not really been evident today. It's been, in fact, the real opposite. And all these players who've just set high standards. They always set high demands. That's what a Guardiola team's all about. Yes, they are the brilliance and the beauty of football, but they are just the high demands. They're everything about it. The pressing, the intensity, the energy. Not really been at it with City today, I must admit. But with the quality on the pitch, they can't just turn the screw at any given moment like they did in the first half. Here's Torres. Goes on his right foot. Goes for the curler. Diop in the way a bit to head it out. Only as far as Stones. His little knock to Mahrez is touched on out for a throw by Ben Johnson. Well, he's had his moments, but this is the opportunity with De Bruyne again. Diop went in with a sliding challenge. You know, if he catches De Bruyne, he gets a yellow card. He just brings it infield gracefully, and then the ball just was just beyond Sergio Aguero, whose afternoon is over after an hour. That was pretty much going to be expected given his lack of action over the past sort of 2 months. And Gabriel Jesus, who scored one of the two in Germany on Wednesday, comes on in his absence. He's a man for the cup competitions, but the Premier League is what really does let Gabriel Jesus down. Did score against Sheffield United at home at the end of January. Here's Mahrez, though, as they get closer towards West Ham's goal. Walker, Fernandinho, trying to play it through to Mahrez. Cut out once again by West Ham. They were trying to slice the Hammers' defence open there, but it's well defended by the visiting side. And then Cresswell's able to just knock it forward, which Souček will flick on. I think the outball for West Ham today, especially in this second half, has probably come from Lingard or Fornals. Whenever they seem to just get that ball forward and get closer towards West Ham's goal, Man City's goal, Antonio starts to really spring up off his feet and really come alive. Torres. Lingard does very, very well. And I spoke about before the game out, they worked so well off the ball, West Ham. They did it brilliantly against Tottenham. It's very obvious to see here this afternoon against, to some people, the league champions come May, and at the moment, the current table toppers. Stones on the ball. Fernandinho. Zinchenko. This is really asking questions of Manchester City's team. How good are they? As they are currently being helped against the stubborn West Ham side. Gundogan. Walker. Gundogan again. Pops it to Fernandinho. He now goes to the right with Walker, who's seen a lot more of the ball in the advanced area than what he did in the first half. Jesus does manage to just knock it to Mahrez, despite being put under pressure by a couple of West Ham players. Here's Ferran Torres. Diaz. De Bruyne. Zinchenko. Now with John Stones. Walker with Mahrez. Not quite had the desired impact he was hoping for, as well as his teammates. Johnson's not showing him a lot of room on the inside. That was what got Manchester City's winner against Arsenal, didn't it, on Sunday, when he cut inside, got that ball in for Sterling, who made that tremendous leap to head in. So far, they've just been forced back, as West Ham have got the numbers to back up being defensive. They win it here, though, with Antonio. Fornals. Antonio once again. West Ham getting a steady stream of players forward. Lingard. So fouls to the right of him. Ball is beyond him, and Ferran Torres is able to slide in. But you felt there that that was a real presentable moment of promise for West Ham. But unfortunately, Lingard's pass was poor. Here's Walker. Finds Jesus. Makes a really good run to the right. Onside. Slips as he tries to do a step over away from his man, but the flag is raised on Jesus, and the linesman there, Simon Bennett, puts his flag up once the attack goes cold. Yeah, he's just offside, isn't he? Just an arm. Right idea. That was what was missing with Aguero, wasn't it? Just being lively off your feet. Hey, he's saying it's inches, isn't he, with the motion. Second sub for City, Phil Foden coming on, Torres off. So one of the 7 changes that was made by Guardiola really hasn't worked so far. So off goes Ferran Torres, and Phil Foden is the man to come on. it's interesting to see what goes on with Foden. They just need that player at the moment, City in the wide areas. You're just going to get it and look up and play it forward. I think Mahrez and Torres were just probably being a little bit too slow, just sort of letting the ball just sort of stop with them rather than, get the ball into their feet and quickly play it through. As we know, Foden is just so well ahead of the game, isn't he? And such a clever footballer, so mesmerising to watch. It's very interesting to see if he can bring that class with him here on the pitch today in the sort of 24 minutes that we've got of this game remaining. Walker now. Mahrez. De Bruyne. Mahrez again. He'll clip it in. Away by Diop. Lingard back. Defending. It's gone off Mahrez's arm. Michael Oliver says free kick. Did that hit the arm of Sofal? Yes, it did. And Manchester City's pressing. Visible to see there as they lose the ball. They're just so quick to get it back. Sofal's arm was out there as Jesus kicked the ball against his arm that was well and truly out. De Bruyne's going to take this free kick. There's Ruben Diaz. He scored a goal from a De Bruyne cross early in the game. The delivery by De Bruyne is headed behind by Sofal for a Manchester City corner. They keep the defenders up to Manchester City for this corner. West Ham have got every player back. In by Mahrez. Well watched and headed out by Thomas Souček. De Bruyne. Forward ball to Zinchenko. Now to Mahrez. Goes on the outside of Johnson. Then checks on the inside. It's John Stones! 2-1 Manchester City. And both the centre-backs are on the score sheet. Beautiful trickery by Riyad Mahrez to set up the chance for John Stones, who diverts it beyond Darren Randolph. And Manchester City are in front once again at the Etihad. Well, it was a ball in originally by Mahrez. West Ham, you feel, do enough to just get it away, but then they just recycle it, Manchester City. De Bruyne to Zinchenko. He gives it to Riyad Mahrez, who's onside. Ben Johnson doesn't show him the inside, gives him a lot of room on the outside, then checks on the inside, and he gives it to John Stones, who finished that off like a striker's finish. Brilliantly done by him at the first time of asking, well beyond Darren Randolph, who could do nothing to save it. And City have finally got themselves back in front. Well, Riyad Mahrez, who's not had a lot of joy in this game, waited and waited to just come alive in the game and produce a real piece of class. And he did exactly that with the assist for John Stones' goal. And it's now 2-1 to City. And West Ham have got to respond again after going behind. And with that, that is John Stones' 4th goal of the season. And, of course, it is his 3rd one at the Etihad. So, whilst he's coming back into form, he's found his goal-scoring form as much as anything else. Will we see maybe West Ham put on another attacking player to really fight fire with fire as they look to try and salvage a draw? They have got Lanzini, Benrahma and Bowen on the bench. Of course, they've got the young, raw, pacey Ademipo Orabeko to potentially bring on, but I highly doubt that they'll be bringing him on when they're in this situation. But they've got a free kick here. City have got a high line. It's important that West Ham don't break through it before the ball's been taken. So they've got to just be aware of what City will do. It's going to be Cresswell who will deliver it. Flicked on by Dawson. Left by Zinchenko as Ederson comes a long way out of his goal under no West Ham pressure to just gather the ball. Well, it is a sign of a good team when you can be as good as what you are and have been over the course of the last 2 months, well, 3 months to be exact, and still play well enough to win. As we know, it's not been vintage. Games are thick and fast for City at the moment. They've got a game against Wolves on Tuesday. And then, of course, they've got Man United next Sunday at home, which you would think if, obviously, they were to beat Wolves and beat Man United, it would probably be curtains on the title race in the Premier League for this season and would probably put City's name back on the trophy and, more importantly, have blue and white ribbons, light blue ribbons, that is, on the side of the trophy. Ederson. The best kick for Zinchenko. Souček heads it to Lingard. Now to Diop. Jesus not giving him a moment's peace. Dawson does well to race on to Diop's pass. Declan Rice. Now to Jesse Lingard. 18 minutes to go. Can West Ham respond again? They did it when they went behind through Diaz's header. Have they got it in themselves to do it? They've got a free kick here as Foden clips Jesse Lingard. I seem to be enjoying his football once again after just a pretty stale few months at Manchester United, in which he was limited to appearances in the League Cup and FA Cup. Lingard will take the free kick. Well delivered in, and Dawson threw himself at it, and Ederson takes amidst Dawson climbing. Yeah, really good take by Ederson. Good leap. You just see Fernandinho just sort of duck underneath it just to stop Antonio. It's good defensive play by him. Yeah, then Ederson just sort of on his side just took maybe a bit of a whack. It was in the ribs and the midriff of Ederson. So free kick. And potentially we'll have a break in play as treatment will be received for Ederson in a luminous pink kit, remember. Well, of course, the coverage on RS Media does not stop. Manchester United Chelsea will be covered on this channel. 4:30 kickoff tomorrow. James Whitfield will be bringing you live commentary on that. And, of course, Ryan Somley has been busy interviewing Premier League referees. Mark Halsey was the first of his interviews with former Premier League referees, which, of course, was done last week. It is a good watch, believe me. If you do fancy watching something after this game's done and in between the 3 o'clocks going on in the Premier League and elsewhere in England, then feel free to watch it on our various social media channels. But this is a goal from John Stone. Such a clever finish. He knew exactly where he was going to put the ball in the net before Mahrez even played it to him. He placed it to perfection. Real fist pump from Pep Guardiola and both his centre-backs on the score sheet. It's proved to be the difference so far in this game. As we head into the final quarter of an hour here at the Etihad Stadium, with Manchester City as it stands going 13 points clear of the Premier League summit, ahead of closest challengers Manchester United. Those two players have just found a combination and they've just fitted together like a glove, haven't they? Just the perfect partnership. You've got Diaz, very old school type centre-back, real big, imposing figure, but still very much his modern-day traits. You've got John Stones, so casual, so good at, what he does. He had a real sort of shaky 18 months, and since he's come back into the team, his confidence has just been there for all to see, and he's absolutely reveling and brimming in it as a player, and is just feeling 10 feet tall, and nothing can just get past him at the moment. Dawson with the diagonal, so foul, knocking it forward. Fornals and Diaz competing there. Here is Fornals, though. Maybe an opportunity for West Ham. Souček decided to dummy it instead of just taking it under control first time, but then back in the nick of time with Manchester City players. Here's De Bruyne out to Riyad Mahrez. De Bruyne once again, and just slows things down by knocking it to Diaz. Walker. De Bruyne. Just keeping the ball at the back. Here are Manchester City. And the game between the two at the Etihad have actually usually been quite close. It's when Manchester City visit the London Stadium. That's when it really does become a bit of a drubbing. They do like visiting that part of London, do Manchester City. Of course, they did stop the rot in their home games, West Ham v Manchester City, with that 1-1 draw back in October, with Mikel Antonio scoring, as he has repeated the trick this afternoon. Jesus and Walker combining there as he now plays it to Mahrez. Mahrez just got in a bit of a tangle there amongst himself. Jesus wins it back superbly. Mahrez will get the shot away, curls it. Bounces off Dawson into Gundogan's path. Mahrez to De Bruyne. Jesus. De Bruyne again. Now it's just with Ruben Diaz. De Bruyne once again. Stones once again. I mean, with Manchester City, there's just always that real ferocious intensity, isn't it? And I mean, they've been comfortable at 2-1, to be fair. They would like that third goal, of course. Maybe it's about to happen now with Mahrez. Good block by Craig Dawson, I think it was. There was him and Souček getting in the way of it. It bounced off Souček, in fact, for that Manchester City corner. Yeah, it could be a vital block. As we know, Mahrez likes to put a lot of whip on his shots, and you would have thought Randolph would have had to have been really having to do a lot of work to try and keep it out of the net. Corner in by Foden. Met by Stones, away by the West Ham defence. Zinchenko knocks it back to the corner taker, Foden. Not the best ball back in by Foden. So you're able to get back on the ball once again. Fernandinho. Mahrez. De Bruyne. Zinchenko. De Bruyne. Mahrez to John Stones. West Ham just can't get the ball off Manchester City at the moment. As I said, very early on, Manchester City just like to absorb teams, don't they? They just like to really pull them out of position and just toy with them, and that's what they're doing here against this West Ham side, who really have stood firm, defended largely very, very well, but the quality in this City team is just so evident to see, with the moments of class they can produce, like that Mahrez ball, like De Bruyne's ball for Ruben Diaz's goal. It really is why they are just at the top of their game at the moment. Mahrez Too short a ball through to Jesus, cut out by Dawson. Diop, Dawson, not the best time to sort of be overhitting a pass. They've managed to get themselves out of it of West Ham. As we head into the final 10 minutes, still no change for West Ham. I wonder how long David Moyes will hold back his substitutes in this game. Dawson, Souček, Dawson back once again. The pressing is still there to some degree from Manchester City. Bowen and Ben Rama both warming up, getting instructions from Kevin Nolan, a former Hammers captain, remember, on the first team coaching staff. Fernandinho, another goal for City would well and truly kill the game off and end all hope of a West Ham positive result. So foul, concedes a corner as Foden tried to get away from him. And maybe now these two subs that David Moyes has lined up will take place. It looks like they're going to have to wait here with Foden taking this corner. Randolph punches it up into the sky. Souček with the header away. Fernandinho flicks it to Diaz. Here's Mahrez. Wasn't the most convincing of punches by Darren Randolph. Mahrez jinks past Ben Johnson. And then Ederson has it once again at the back. He kicks it on the floor. Not the best kick. Here's Rice. Antonio. Walker cutting it out and winning it back for City. Mahrez to İlkay Gundogan. Jesus to his right. Foden to his left. He finds Foden. The next pass goes to De Bruyne, who's coming up in support. Foden has it once again. Now it's with Zinchenko. Stones. Fernandinho. Mahrez. Just to Walker. They're just slowly playing keep ball here, the hosts. Jesus. Mahrez. Gundogan. De Bruyne. Beautiful stuff this by City. Foden's crossing. This took a nick off of a West Ham player. It was so foul, and then Dawson was able to just clear it out to the side for a throw-in. Well, Ben Rama and Bowen have been waiting very, very patiently to come on. A good few minutes now. They must have had a lot of information drilled into them in that short space of time. There appears to be a bit of confusion with the boards as they put it in now. So Michail Antonio is going to go off. So he won't be able to add to his goal he's already got. And Jared Bowen will come on in his place. And Ben Johnson will come off. And Saeed Ben Rama will come on. Of course, recently made his move a permanent one from Brentford, costing around £20 million. Excelled in the Championship last year. Did the Algerian and, of course, has got a few assists to his name, but yet no goals for West Ham. And what a time it would be to change that here in this game. Goal kick to the Hammers. Darren Randolph is going to take short to Diop. Souček and Zinchenko competing. Fornals flagged offside. Bowen actually flagged offside. Might just look like a faint arm in that there. Well, it's going to be 20-0 if it stays like this for Manchester City. Jesus ran out of room. Rice just sends him to the floor as he wins the ball off him. Diop now with Craig Dawson. Last 5 minutes plus for West Ham United. Of course, they're on a 4-match unbeaten run. It is coming to an end as it stands. But of course, they know all about scoring late goals in big games. The Tottenham game, they were 3-0 down and drew 3. It wouldn't quite be as spectacular as that, but it would be as significant as a result. You can see nice play by Benrahma and Lingard as they interchange between one another. Fernandinho clips Jesse Lingard as West Ham have won a free kick. And it looks like it won't be a booking for the Man City skipper. Good play between Benrahma and Lingard. Benrahma came deep to play it back to Lingard. And then he wins a free kick in a good position, which certainly Aaron Cresswell will eye up. Cresswell will take this free kick. Not a bad delivery. Diaz heads it away. They were looking for Dawson, as they do most of the time. And Fornals fouls Foden as Manchester City win a free kick. Yeah, easy decision. Well, to be fair, I think he's been the one for West Ham in particular who's gone about the pressing side of the game really, really well. He's tried to just not let City play out from the back. And, you know, when he's had to come back, he's come back. But when he's had to go in and try and win the ball, he's done exactly that. Offside flag raised against Jesus. Souček takes it short. And Rama is challenged well there by John Stones. Throw into West Ham. Rodri now going to come on. Starting to see why Manchester City paid over £60 million for his signature 18 months ago. Really is performing well in his second season under Pep Guardiola in Manchester City. Sofal, sorry. Fornals. Crowded out by Foden. It's just all the time Manchester City's pressing. It is absolutely phenomenal how they could just keep that up for 90 minutes. Rice. Benrahma. Trying to play it through to Lingard. Is Fernandinho. Now De Bruyne. Can't quite give it to Riyad Mahrez. And West Ham do enough. And City's final change will now take place. Rodri will come on for the final 2+ minutes. And it will be Ilkay Gundogan who's going to go off. He can't add to what's been an already impressive goal tally for the season, the German. And he will be replaced by the Spaniard Rodri, who's a bit more of a defensive-minded player. Did score in their last home win against Tottenham Hotspur on the 13th of February. Scored that penalty, which opened his account for the season. Diop with the ball forward. Well, one in the air by Zinchenko. Bowen, who's almost playing down the middle since coming on in place of Antonio. Here's Fornals. He crosses in. Stones with the header away. Souček is now further forward, so we will probably start seeing West Ham resorting to putting crosses in the box and being very direct. Here's Dawson. And West Ham have a sting in the tail in this game and come away back to East London with a point. Declan Rice. Craig Dawson. Cresswell. Diop. Sofal. Defending there by Zinchenko. Yeah, Sofal Looked to try and put it in the first time of asking, but it was a real key sliding challenge there by Zinchenko that didn't allow the ball to go in. 4 additional minutes. It's a corner kick, in fact, actually. I thought it might have just gone out for a throw-in, but it's gone for a corner, which is an even better opportunity for the Hammers. In it goes. Well away by Ruben Dias. Here's Jesse Lingard. Away by Diaz once again. Been absolutely faultless once again. The only downside is he's not been able to keep a clean sheet. Good feet by Jesus to get away from Lingard. Down the line to Foden. He might just have to do something amazing here. Bounces off Sofal, who's done really well there to stand his ground and get away from Foden with the ball. Cresswell. Benrahma. Holding off Walker, who's come a long way to win it off him, but is unable to do so. Declan Rice. Lingard. Jesus fouls in free kick. Like a lot of it just not interested in giving out a yellow card. John Stones, the man of the match. Another exemplary performance by him. Surely will be in the England squad for next month's friendlies and qualifiers. Lingard with the ball in. Souček fouls John Stones. Free kick. There was a shove there by the Czech on John Stones. Yeah, he's looking at the ball the entire time. His arm is near enough wrapped round Stones' side. Easy decision. But one thing I've noticed, actually, Fernandinho is stuck so tight to Souček from set pieces. That's been a real interesting thing as the game's sort of just gone on. He's just been very, very tight to him, not allowed him to get the lead. When you get a man in front of him, it means he's got to jump even higher, and it's so awkward to get your jump and, get a header on goal as such. Well, they're nearly there. Nearly 20 wins on the spin. A phenomenal run that they are on. And in the strangest of seasons in which, of course, the schedule is relentless, it is absolutely testament to Guardiola and his managing of his team that he can make 7 changes and they're on their way to a massive win, potentially. Fernandinho goes in the book for blocking off the West Ham substitute, Jarrod Bowen. Last 60 seconds now for the Hammers. I think Cresswell was looking at maybe playing it down the line, but he's instead gone against that. He's just going to absolutely send this ball in. Dawson underneath it, or we thought it was going to be. Instead it went over his head. So foul. Fornals. In by Lingard. Good delivery. Headed on by Diop and beyond Thomas Souček. That looked like the moment for the Hammers. Issa Diop knows it, and so does Thomas Souček. Really good play by West Ham. Really good ball in by Lingard. Diop's onside. Lingard does well to pick it out in between Stones and Kyle Walker. Headed down by Diop, but it's just a little bit too much on it. A little bit away from Thomas Souček. If he just maybe reacted a little bit quicker and anticipated it just slightly more, he's got a touch straight in the back of the net. Well, that's the closest they've come in this second half. And there is the final whistle. West Ham are beaten here at the Etihad as it's 20 consecutive wins for Manchester City. And more importantly, they go 13 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Ruben Dias' header on 31 minutes put Man City in front. In between, John Stones' winner, Michail Antonio, scored 2 minutes before the end. But West Ham, who came in on a good run, 4 matches unbeaten, that's come to an end as Manchester City roll on here at the Etihad and don't slip up. And the 7 changes have proved effective as Guardiola's team march on in the Premier League. Full time here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1.